Grandstand for the final home and away round in the VFL heads to Port Melbourne. The clash between Port Melbourne and the Box Hill Hawks. David Rhys-Jones, so many things to think about going into this game. Port have had a couple of narrow escapes the last couple of weeks. They got over Williamstown. They just got over the Bull Ants last week. Are they just starting to wobble a bit going into the finals?
No, I don't think so. I think they've played some quality opposition and been able to get over the line. So it'll hold them in good stead coming into the finals.
And of course, we all know their record at Port Melbourne. They're practically invincible there. It's going to be interesting to see how Box Hill bounces back after what happened at the hands of Williamstown last week, because they were embarrassed. There's no question about that.
Look, it was a terrible match, and they've really got to put that behind them and come out and show some effort and give their supporters some hope going into September. But look, let's hope that they can do it. But I think Port should win this game very easily.
And the way the results have fallen, it's important for Box Hill just not to lose too much percentage if they are to lose to Port Melbourne. So they simply can't afford a blowout either.
No, they can't, and they could easily lose their spot in the finals. And, you know, the ball is in their court, so let's see what happens.
Port Melbourne will go in as the overwhelming favourite. That is round 22, the final home and away round on Grandstand from North Port Oval next week. It is Port Melbourne versus Box Hill. And coming up, the week's other games, Geelong, well, because they had the bye last week, they can't get in. Sandy are still alive numerically, so they just have to keep on winning. Casey Scorpions and the Bull Ants is going to be a good precursor going into the finals.
Yeah, it should be, and I'm sure Fev will love to get out there against a few of his old teammates.
Bendigo and Coburg, probably the Bombers' favourites there against the Coburg Tigers. North Ballarat and Werribee. Well, it just seems as though the impossible could be reality now with North Ballarat. They are definitely a contender for 4 flags in a row, and you would suspect the worst when Williamstown journeys to Frankston, because if they were able to beat Box Hill by 101, the Dolphins haven't had a great year, and that could be very lopsided. So plenty of interest in the last round to see what's going to happen the last week before the finals. All of the VFL action on Grandstand.